You know, it's been a minute since our guest has been here on Sportswire Radio. It is time, as I stated a little while ago, to get back to the basics. It's time to get to what you tuned into Sportswire Radio for. And now we're joined by the first backyard wrestler to have ever come onto this platform, and a man that is certainly needing no introduction, but he's going to get quite an introduction tonight. And we're going to certainly reward him once again because he is back to deliver us the ratings. Because certainly if you watched yesterday's show, well, nobody really did, but that's okay. Our guest was supposed to come on, and we said he was going to be the infamous Montana. It was almost like he was one of Tony Montana's victims. It's not about him. We'll bring him back on. But this man has plenty to talk about, especially in the world of RCW. And those guys that used to be on a trampoline have now bounced into RCW. We'll get into that. We'll talk about what happened there between Mephisto and Freddie Myers. We'll talk about maybe, well, an impromptu tag team match, which led to those guys signing to RCW. We'll talk about maybe, I don't know, an open challenge from our RCW champion. And we'll most certainly get into maybe what's going on in the IMF, because I mean, I'm as confused as ever, and there's no world champion, and there may be a new member of the foundation, or at least a guy that shook hands with somebody that's a part of the Rockstars of the Galaxy. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, need a scorecard for that. I'm tongue twisted just even thinking about that. And plus, we are now 2 weeks away from, who would have thought, Summer Bash 3. And we're going to be talking a lot about that. And before Summer Bash 3, we're going to certainly be talking plenty about that to get you ready, because I know our guest is going to certainly be front and center of that. And I am sure I'm going to drop some plugs, certainly for Vintage Heaven, because you got to go get your collectibles there. You got to get who knows whatever else. And certainly I know that it's been a minute since our guest has been here. And I know the chat is coming in. I know everybody's excited for this one because, well, it's been a minute since you've been excited for somebody to come on Sportswire Radio. But I must give our guest that introduction, because we are thankfully once again truly in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage. And even though his father may be John Bon Jovi, I have to quote Def Leppard frontman Joe Elliott, although after all, Def Leppard and Bon Jovi, kind of the same thing, although one's from the UK, the other one's from not too far from me, from New Jersey. But in his famous words, Mr. Joe Elliott, let's get rocked, baby, because you're waiting for it. I know our guest is waiting for it, and I better deliver an introduction that's going to be just as equivalent as, hopefully, the heat wave we're about to see in the Big Apple and beyond. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get this show off in style on Sportswire Radio, the #1 global radio station where all music and wrestling matters. So with that, without further ado, here on the Sports Report, #1 sports show. A man that is a founding father of the All Wrestling Matters movement. A man that was the first backyard wrestler to come on Sportswire Radio. A man that has been inducted into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame several times. And a man that is the official last link of the one and only GBYWN that's active on a regular basis. His name is, simply put, the Rockstar Shawn. Jovi! Welcome home, my friend! How are we doing?
That intro gets better every time, Tom, and it makes me remember why this is my favorite platform of all time.
Well, I'm glad that there are people here that are tuned in because yesterday we literally did a show. I mean, my performance was fine, but it was almost as if, well, let's just say the guy, it wasn't his fault. We were supposed to have the infamous Montana on from EBW. I know people wouldn't really remember the last time he came on. We were supposed to bring him on, and I guess I was partially late. He never showed up, and then we had on Iron Bull Argus, and yeah, you probably didn't tune in, but it's good that you're here, and Shawn Jovi is back, and yeah, it's been a minute, and welcome home.
Thank you, Tom. It's a pleasure to be home. The one platform that I helped build where all wrestling matters. It's great to be home.
Yes,
I really missed it on here.
I know, and you're going to be seeing some of the familiars here in the next few weeks. I think James Taylor is coming back on. He hasn't been here. Yeah, he hasn't been here. We're going to certainly have some Summer Bash coverage because as crazy as it sounds, Summer Bash is 2 weeks from now. I mean,
I know.
Where does the time fly?
It goes so fast. I mean, it feels like yesterday I was at last year's Summer Bash in Ohio.
Well, it feels to me like yesterday that we were talking about Summer Bash. Yeah, what it was. Well, actually, I'll even go back further and talking about it was just DKW and IMF. And then,
right, before I even showed up.
Yeah, and then they showed up to you. And I hope you're feeling better because I can hear it in your voice. Well, I'll certainly make sure to carry the conversation a bit. But let's talk.
Like last week, that was the worst. I couldn't even talk. Like, and they told me to shut up and rest my voice.
Now, if I lost my voice, there would be people that would be good, saying, "Good, thank God, finally, no more war chant introductions. Finally, they can be silent." No, we're kidding. People are happy to be here. I see some usuals that we haven't seen, but let's talk about, for those that are listening and watching here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the platform that you certainly have helped build alongside RCW, IMF, and some of these great people here in this chat. Talk about RCW Awaken the Fallen because there was so much that went on, and tell us what just happened.
So a lot of people are probably wondering what's going on with STBW. What they signed with RCW? What the hell's going on there?
Yeah.
I hate to say this, but I played my hand a little bit. Now, who wants to hear a story? Do you want to hear a story, Tom?
From you, at this point, I will let you say 25 different stories because we need to get back to the basics.
Yes. So once upon a time, not so long ago, in a land that I no longer wrestle in, I don't know if you remember the end of the Backyard Brawl, but I offered contracts to that company I don't wrestle.
Yes, I do remember that everybody came in the ring. There was an embrace. There was a moment that everybody seemed like we were going to continue to see some of this in a place that you used to represent. Yes.
Right. You see, something about that, Tom, those weren't WCE's contracts I whipped up. I just wanted to put that out there. They weren't. I kind of played the fiddle and played my hand a little secretively, but those were actually RCW contracts I whipped up for those boys.
Whoa! And you brought up obviously.
It took a while to come around and, come to the terms of why don't we wrestle for RCW instead of WCE? But hey, I managed to get a big score, a big signing. We got new, young, and up-and-coming talent in the yard and the underground that we can work with. And that's what RCW is about in the first place. Getting the next generation ready to go for what comes their way.
Yeah, I think that this is a big thing because we know what happened last year with the Backyard Brawl, the Devil's Playground at Halloween. We obviously saw what had unfolded. We definitely saw potential in STBW. Tyler Fury has been in IMF in the past. We know, obviously, he's been a part of things, but to see guys again like Dalton and Peyton, who really, to me, I mean, he's the guy that I really expect a lot of big things from. To see the STBW crew back here, but this time in a ring, and this time in a company like RCW with the heritage and you at the helm. I mean, this is a huge coup. This is a huge score for RCW.
It is a huge score. Like I said, the whole purpose of RCW it's not just a pre-show presentation we do for IMF every month. It's a way to build young talent, people who aren't ready to be on the main show but still want some kind of spotlight. Like, this is the place for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to build the future of Backyard and Underground for years to come.
Which I think is important because, you know, and I was having this conversation with somebody off the air, and I think right now Backyard Wrestling needs a shot in the arm. I think that this year in Backyard Wrestling, we need to shake things up a little bit. I think that obviously, I don't think it's related to certain things, but I think that this year there's, you know, definitely not been the same type of drive with newer talents. I think that as we've seen in the most recent times, and I think that there's a potential here with STBW. We know how hungry they are. We know what these guys can bring to the table. Like I said, Tyler's been here before in IMF, now a part of RCW again. We'll see him once again later on in the show, and certainly with what Peyton did, Dalton. So to me, this is a huge shot in the arm, and this is, I think, exactly what we need.
I agree, and that's why I made the executive business decision to do it, because we need to light a fire under the Underground's ass. There hasn't been much to be said or done. I mean,
no, this year
we're doing our thing. Every other Fed's doing their thing. It's kind of back to square one where it started.
I agree. I feel like the last few months, I don't feel what we had here for the last couple of years, and I think that we need, like you said, to get back to the basics, get back to square one. Is it because people lost faith? Is it because people went on and did different things? Is it because people, I don't know, whatever it is. But I think to see STBW and looking at the potential, especially a guy like Peyton, you could just see it. This guy is ready. I mean, he's right out of Central Casting. He could be another one of these guys that you see like a Jason Myers or Freddie Daniels, who we've seen on Tonight's Show and been staples in IMF, Jordan Nets. And to see a guy like him here, I mean, he's the guy that I'm really excited to see here in RCW.
Peyton has a lot of untapped potential can tap into. And I honestly think this guy's got a bright future. I mean, no offense to Fury or Dalton or Nolan or any of those other guys in that Fed.
Well, there's Nolan Money McDermott. I mean, is he a man you have quite a history with? So he's a part of the roster, I guess.
Yeah, he is technically signed.
The way you said that was like such an LOL moment.
That kid's got a lot to learn, but I'm happy to have him on board.
Well, you know what? Sometimes people get humbled.
We'll talk
about Anthony Steele later, and I saw things I never thought I'd see on TV when it comes to Anthony Steele, at least on a wrestling show's product. We'll definitely, I'm sure, get into that. But who knows? Maybe Nolan Money McDermott will fall under the right side of the coin for a change. But if he's a part of STBW, that's certainly something I'm sure we'll get into. But yeah, it's great to see what they bring to the table. It brings more talent. And I also think what it's going to do is it's going to light a fire under guys in RCW currently. And we'll see why. Yep. I mean, certainly Freddie Daniels is one that comes to mind. The man that's in the chat who's been basically lighting a fire under everybody else's here in the chat, Mr. Darkfire. Certainly I mentioned Jason Myers and, your brother in the Rockstars of the Galaxy. I think it's going to certainly put a lot of competition for those guys. It's going to definitely create a spark for a lot of people.
Yeah, and that's the whole purpose of it, Tom. Bringing the community back together, putting something together that's truly special for young and upcoming talent. And it's only gonna get bigger, and it's gonna get larger than life, as they say, starting at Summer Bash, because I got plans.
Ooh, I'll tell you what. I'm very excited to talk about Summer Bash. We're going to talk about Summer Bash in a little while. And as crazy as it sounds, Summer Bash is in 2 weeks. Where does the time fly? I remember yesterday we were just talking about Summer Bash. Everybody was here in Bremen, Ohio. Everybody went to Darkron's compound at the time, and we got everybody fitted on here. And now we're talking about Summer Bash 3. And certainly we see things develop, which led to a tag match. And obviously we see Freddie Daniels and Darkfire with Ace Diamond, your old nemesis, to quote James Taylor. Your nemesis Ace Diamond is there, and obviously we see what unfolded here.
Yeah, it ended up being a mess. That the Zombie had to make a tag match. I couldn't even talk.
And I was gonna say Zombaronis is back. I mean, it has been a minute since Zombaronis has been here, and that's what we needed to get law and order here in RCW. That's exactly the kind of leadership, and there's the only man that I could think of that could give us that kind of leadership and give us that sense of law and order is the one and only Zombaronis, our GM of RCW.
Yeah, I mean, once upon a time he was an old man, and then he kind of faded away, became a zombie. And I left him in charge for a weekend. I was out. I could, like I said, I had no voice, so I couldn't really run the show. So I reached out to an old zombie friend, and he ran the show for me. And I think he did a pretty good job.
I think he did, because this was one of RCW's strongest shows in a while. The amount of talent that was on here, and obviously we see Freddie Daniels and Darkfire getting in the ring, and Tyler Fury. I want to talk about Tyler for a minute, coming back to him, because Tyler's obviously been a part of IMF in the past. He's obviously tag teamed with Thomas McEntee, and if you didn't see it, go out and watch Awake to Fallen, and we'll certainly tell you why you need to watch what Tyler Fury does toward the end of the show. But I've noticed Tyler Fury's got a little bit of an attitude change here since he's last been here in a ring, and you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing with all these guys. I think that they have a fire lit under their ass right now because they have a lot to prove. I mean, look at Back at the Backyard Brawl. They lost.
Yep.
They have something to prove. And I think that's part of what's going on here with Darkfire and Freddie. Yeah, they came in an ambush, but this is an opportunity for these guys in this match to prove they belong in RCW. So, I mean, it's a good thing they came out uninterrupted.
Yeah, I think that there's no question that they're going to have to find their footing here in RCW, and it's going to be interesting to see if STBW guys stay aligned with each other, because we know you brought up the Devil's Playground, the Backyard Brawl, and STBW wasn't successful. So maybe we'll see it where STBW guys go their own way and they try to carve out their own path now that they're RCW roster members, not necessarily STBW guys any longer.
Right. And that also leads kind of a segue into what we'll talk about later with Summer Bash. I do have a plan for them involving
you have a plan for them. Interesting. You said you have a plan.
I mean, I got plans for everybody. I'm the booker. I got to book things for RCW, man. And honestly, this idea I have, I think, is a very good one. So,
well, I definitely like that. And, it's funny. I actually had a booker a couple weeks ago on here, a guy, Tommy Hara, for Express Wrestling in Pennsylvania. He was a legit booker, and he books the whole show, and I asked him a bunch of questions. But the good news is I don't have to ask you any of those things. Yeah. But certainly I'm looking at Darkfire, and obviously Darkfire is a man that you have quite a history with. And what's your opinion on him now alongside Freddie Daniels and Ace Diamond here of late? What is your thoughts on that? I figure it'd be a good segue to bring him up.
Yeah, I mean, and first things first, my doors are locked. Thank you for
Good. Because you know what? This is a special night, because I got something special for you in RCW tonight. So obviously you want to make sure that those doors are locked and nobody comes in. No
margins allowed tonight, folks.
Good.
But
thank you,
Darkfire and I still have some unfinished business retaining to whatever his deal is with me. Still haven't gotten that out of him, but him and I are going to be facing at Summer Bash, also known as Larger Than Life. That's going to be one of the main events for the RCW.
Yes, you and I were talking about the video package there. I saw quite a package.
Yeah, I mean, that's 18 years of history right there, dating back to 2007 all the way to 2025. Kind of showed the era of each
Yeah.
in that video package.
That even predates your GBYWN days, which I thought was
Yeah,
so interesting. I was watching the video and I was talking to you about.
GBYW, and I got in there in 2009. I started in 2006, technically.
Yeah. So you,
I didn't find out about them until quite a ways later.
and but I think that's so fascinating is that we're going on almost 20 years of history between you and Darkfire. You know, obviously
Right.
Rad was here a couple weeks ago. You know, Doc Holliday is in the chat usually. I had even on Rad's stepson now. Yes, he has a stepson, a stepson. And I think back, not you. Yes, it's not you though, but it's a Connor Schaefer. But I think about all the people in the history that I talk about here on the platform. And I know Darkron and Matthew Forsaken might be the only other two names that I could say that would have the kind of history as long as you and Darkfire do. Because if you think about that, right? 18 years in the making this is. You know, certainly
Yeah,
Matthew and Darkron, obviously they're brothers, so they're going to have a history that
right.
precedes it. But really, this is you and Darkfire, the only one that has that as long a feud or as long a history, and we're going to see it once again coming up in 2 weeks.
That's right. And I think at this point, it's a matter of who grew the best over these 20 years, who grew the most, who got the most out of their experience in the backyard underground. I think it's going to come down to this match in terms of like who's winning is who wants it more. And
Well,
I know a lot of people are going to say like I have the bad singles record, whatever, and then Darkfire probably wants it more, but I don't think he wants it as bad as I do, because even though my victories on Darkfire are far ahead of what I've lost,
yeah.
I'm not going to underestimate him. Clearly, the guy's got some kind of vendetta for me right now. I'm not sure if it's because I didn't take his side with IMF management during their fallout in the winter. I'm not sure if that's it or if he's just jealous of my success or whatever, but we got to get back on task. And I think Darkfire and I need to settle whatever beef there is so we can get back on task.
I think it's all of it. You know, I think it's all of the above, because if you think about it, right? Shawn Jovi is a name. I say it all the time. People smile whether Shawn Jovi's winning or not. I know there hasn't been a lot of winning these days, but yes, I threw a Bon Jovi reference in there. But certainly people smile. No matter what, Shawn Jovi's a name that people love hearing. People go, oh, I love Jovi. Yeah, Jovi, I like him. Yeah, you know what time it is. People love Shawn Jovi. You're the resident rock star. Darkfire, I mean, yeah, he's a guy that's there. He's a guy that, yes, he's been around, but I don't think, and maybe this is his motivation, I think that he knows that he doesn't get that same kind of treatment on here, whether it's because of his own histories. It's been well documented, his own demons. It's been well documented some other things he's went through in ring, and maybe that's motivation for him at Summer Bash to prove a point. And look at last year, right? Let's go back to last year's Summer Bash. You had another generational match. You had a generational match with one Remy Ravage, somebody that you had history with. We saw that video package. We saw what that was and what that meant to the both of you to have that match happen. And you once again are in another generational match, this time with a man who knows you better than anybody ever will in Darkfire, and that's why he's motivated.
Yeah, I mean, it is an intergenerational match, and I'm not going to lie. That match with Remy was probably the most emotional match I have ever had. Like, I look back at that match and just feel so heartfelt that I got to have that moment with Remy one last time in the ring. And this could be the same case with Darkfire. I mean, we don't know how many years we have left. We're in our mid-30s.
No, I mean, listen, that you know what? I mean, I know James Taylor's here. He's saying he's going for years, and I know Darkron's here, and he's obviously fought through a lot to come back. I mean, take it for what you want to believe. CJ Black posted on Instagram last week that this is his last year as an active in-ring competitor. Again, CJ Black says take it for what it's worth. Who knows? Everybody says different things, but you really don't know. I mean, listen, Rad was here a couple weeks ago and he talked about the urgency of his match coming up, which at that time was going to be this last Friday, where he won the Matt Pro Wrestling Grand Tournament. So, I mean, there's really unknown about how many more Summer Bashes there are going to be where you're an active competitor. How many more times could we see Shawn, Jovi, and Darkfire on a big stage like this at Summer Bash?
Exactly, and this is the biggest stage we'll have ever wrestled on together. So that was kind of the purpose of the larger than life Super Show name. This is large. I mean, it's not every day a yarder says they made it somewhere and then they return to the yard after they made it.
Yeah.
Not many people go backwards instead of forwards.
Yeah,
backwards isn't really a step backwards. It's a homecoming. And that's what I'm treating this as. It's a homecoming for me. It's a homecoming for Darkfire. It's a homecoming for Soldier GP, Omen Black, IMF, ROEW, any Fed out there under the sun. Anyone who's coming, it's their homecoming. This is the homecoming show. This is the big shebang. This is my WrestleMania of the year.
I think it is, because I think if you look at it as we're here with the resident Rockstar, Shawn Jovi, and thank you everybody for being here. And I do want to announce it because James Taylor is here. James Taylor is coming back on this week. We do need to get back to the basics here. We need to get back to I think some people have looked at some of the names on here and went, who? And that's certainly going to change a little bit here over the next few weeks. But also, I've been extremely busy. I even forget where I am sometimes these days. But that's going to change. But if you are here right now, Shawn Jovi got one more new subscriber. Let's get him at least 1, 2, or 3 more. So please go out there, hit the sub button for Shawn Jovi. And we're so honored to have him back home on the platform he helped build. And I have something for him in a little while. But, I do think it's a point that the importance of Summer Bash. Best in the Yard took place today with some guys that were a part of it. Sean Phoenix, Matt DeMorris, obviously the legendary Matt DeMorris.
I love Phoenix.
Oh, yeah, I mean, he's, people they hear his name. Matt DeMorris is doing a few more of these. He's got the Chase Wakefield Wedding Invitational. But I think it's a good point that you made that, especially with Summer Bash, that this is a homecoming for guys. But we also, I mean, Omen, Soldier, they laid, obviously they're not in the foundation together anymore, but they laid the foundation for this and all these different people that have these shows and all these collaborations. And I think it's good that we get back to that and to see people and also see people again, I'm sure, like Il Drago, like Anthony Steele, and certainly like Jason Myers, Freddie Daniels, Mephisto, your brother in the Rock Stars of the Galaxy, and, so many others. Ox McCoy, who, I for one hope we get Kato and Ox McCoy at Summer Bash. But, the point is that I think it's good to see people not forget where they come from, because too often than not, and, I know it's been a topic on it because you've probably seen more indie pro guys on here of late, and like the backyard is this dirty word, but I know some people also have their opinions on All Wrestling Matters these days, but I'm All Wrestling Matters, and I think it's great to see an event embrace the fact that you're going back to, well, what got you here?
Honestly, you've been saying these guys saying it's dirt. I mean, no duh. Like, we wrestle in a backyard. Of course, there's going to be dirt.
Yeah, some people.
That's my rebuttal to that. I'm like, yes, there's dirt in the backyard. Thanks for noticing.
Yes, yeah. Some people don't realize you actually need that to keep the ring, and you need. But I think it's good that I think it's good that we're doing Summer Bash, and I want to do a couple days before Summer Bash itself. I want to talk about the event in detail, because I think this year we really haven't got a chance to. I mean, we've talked about it in drips and drabs, but I think it'll be good next week to spend at least a day or two on it and really get some of the people on there. But I think it's good that we're getting back to that because, again, I think that sometimes far too often than not, it seems lately that people either forget where they come from in terms of it's not just I'm not talking about guys that come on. I'm talking about even indie pro guys that come on here. And there's this, feeling about the backyard. People say different things, but I think it's great that we're talking an event again. Best in the yard. I want to shout out as well today because some of those guys, are part of that from the GBYW and others like Chase Wakefield, Silas Walker, Brandon Castilli, friends of the state from the show and the station. But I think it's good that we're going to have this show again to, showcase, I think, what brought a lot of people together in the first place. Obviously, yourself with Soldier, Omen, Darkron, I'm sure Matthew Forsaken, we're all Forsaken. All the other people that have been a part of these now. And I think it's great that we're going to have that right here in the basically middle of summer. And I'm very excited about it.
I'm excited too, Tom. It's going to be big. And like I said, with RCW and IMF and PWF is going to have some matches there too, I think. Yes. But it's kind of cool because when you think about this, it's kind of like a festival in a way.
Yes.
All these different promotions doing matches for themselves, whether it's IMF, whether it's PWF, whether it's RCW. The RCW branch I'm naming Larger Than Life because I can't host a pay-per-view in Wisconsin to save my life. So I'm doing it there. I'm kind of just like, we'll just join them together.
Well, I mean, listen, you're on a stage, and I think it's great to see that the transition from Bremen to Iowa and the surrounding areas in Palo is going to be great. And it's also another multi-day event once again. Mm-hmm. And you can see coverage of that on the IMF page. And we're very excited to talk about that. And if you are here right now, hit the sub button for Shawn Jovi. And I'm going to get to the chat right now because I'm going to transition to the IMF in a little while because we've talked about RC.
Do you mind if I plug one additional thing to what you said?
You can plug 1,001 things if you want. You are Shawn Jovi. You better believe you're going to be plugging things.
All right. So as you know, I run the All Wrestling Matters YouTube channel.
I'm going to put that up. Go ahead. I'm listening.
I'll put that up because if you people, like any of you guys have never heard of Summer Bash or wondering what the hell we're talking about, on this page, I have archived every match from Summer Bash, including ones I wasn't able to air last year because I couldn't find them. I found this. Yeah, there was a few matches I didn't get to post because I thought I lost them, but then I found them like a month ago, so I put everything up. But the at All Wrestling Matters YouTube page, you'll be able to find a lot of archives. Jake Dvorak let me put his All Wrestling Matters Hardcore Tournament on there.
And congratulations to Jake. He's getting married. I mean, Jake Dvorak is really getting married. He's really having a wedding. And I don't think it's a wrestling one. I think this one's going to end where he's getting married.
Well, hey, I'm glad for the guy. I mean, Jake's a good guy.
I like Jake. I'm
happy he's settling down and getting a marriage going. And
well, he's smart. He's not like Chase Wakefield. He's not having a wrestling super show while he's getting married. So I think his chances of getting married and staying married are pretty high because he's not doing what Mr. Wakefield's doing, which is.
I mean, to be honest, if I was Chase Wakefield, I'd do the same thing. Like,
well, he's got Matt DeMorris in the ring, so maybe that was a good idea.
I'd be like, Rad, I'm getting married. Come on down, let's wrestle.
Well, I mean, that's a good point, touche. But if you'd like to see some of the content, and a lot of great content here, a lot of great shows, a lot of great stuff. Mm-hmm. And if you want to see some of it, I don't know why that came up there, but if you want to go like this right here now, it should pop up. You can see some of the stuff from obviously Doomsday, the past. You can see some other stuff here, some Jovi's vlog stuff, which you'll see more Jovi's vlogs in the future because his voice will eventually get better. And Winter Clash stuff, the first ever IMF show in an indoor venue. Congratulations to those guys for all the great things they've done. You can see just a number of different things and stuff out there. You can see the promo package that we just played from Larger Than Life. You can see, Justin Parsley. Is he alive still? You can see just some different other things. A lot of great content. I mean, there's a lot of great stuff. And thank you to all the companies that have been a part of that. ROEW, NEW, DKW, you got PWF, IMF, certainly, RCW. I mean, it's a long list of wonderful companies that are a part of this content. And please, if you are here, because there are some people that may have not known that this YouTube channel exists. So definitely.
Yeah, it's a good archive channel for sure.
And Shawn Jovi, you can go for a rest hold because I'm going to go to the chat. So Shawn Jovi's got a phone call from John Bon Jovi here. Bon Jovi's calling him, telling him to, when he has a new song out that he wants Jovi to play it. So I'm going to go like this here. We're going to get to some people here in the chat. But while Shawn Jovi runs to talk to his dad, John Bon Jovi, hit that sub button here for our friends over at the All Wrestling Matters. And it's a great honor to have some people here back. And yes, Ox McCoy. By the way, he's got some new merchandise. I want to give it a plug here in a second because he's got some brand new merchandise that you certainly need. And, here in New York, we've got a really big heat wave that we're looking forward to, or maybe some people aren't looking forward to. I think I'm looking forward to because all it has done is rain recently. But we do have some merchandise, and I'd like to give it a little plug here because if you want to buy a shirt, and again, it's got a great different things here. It's groovy. It's far out. It's definitely that Ox McCoy shirt. To quote that 70s show, it's that Ox McCoy shirt. And I'm definitely hailing the IMF Hardcore Champion, one of the greatest to ever do it in the hardcore deathmatch scene in the Midwest. So, go buy a shirt and tell him that I said so. And definitely don't put your blood on it because he'll really then come at you. And remember, he reigns in blood. He drinks in blood. He sleeps in blood. He sends all of his messages in blood. So go out there, hit the sub button. And for us, but also buy a shirt for Ox McCoy. TeePublic, Backspace, T-shirt, a whole bunch of other links. But you can see it here. You can see the design of it. Really cool stuff. Ox McCoy, two-sided. Very cool. Buy it, and so he doesn't kill you or put you in a hardcore death match and put you into thumbtacks and some other things. But I know Bon Jovi called. You told him you're on Sportswire, so it's all good. It's all good. But you never know. Maybe I'll get him on. I just had on, Mark Farner of Grand Funk Rail. He was the only interview I've done recently. Him and D'Angelo the Flame were maybe the only two ones people have tuned into recently, which is understandable. Those are two big names. But hello, Zilla. Yes, Zilla's happy. I think Zilla's very happy about this. And we're going to talk about the House of Wolves here. I want to talk about that because I got a couple things that I'm really curious about your perspective on. And yes, Shawn Jovi is back. Thank God. Yes, thank God people are here.
Thank the Lord.
Thank God for that. Yeah, time to get to the basics. I said that in my video. And Dakota, who has been doing TikTok lives, and she's got a website. If she's close to finishing it, or when she finishes it, give me the link. I'll put it up in the chat. We'll plug it. So thank you for that. I won one of her contests, but I actually told her donate it to somebody that would like to buy some of her stuff, and maybe it'll help her, and maybe it did. And thank you, Zilla, very much for that. Hello. Yep, hello. How was everybody doing? And the man that's here, but he doesn't look like that anymore, by the way. Just want to point that out. He does not look like that. Well, you know what? I haven't cleaned up in a while. Well, I mean, I took a shower, but I haven't cleaned up like that, a long time. So let's not go there. Hello there. Hello. And everybody's doing good. I'm happy about that. Yes, a lot of hellos, but we'll get there. And Darkfire was fired up. Thank you very much. People seem to like the intros. In fact, Ox listened to one where it was like, I think maybe just before you came on, it was like a 30-second intro. It was like, hello and good afternoon. But that was when I was on Facebook Live only, really.
Oh, I remember those days.
Yeah, some people here wouldn't remember that, but I was only on Facebook. So when you go live on Facebook, it's like, that's it, you're live. So it's not like here, you can kind of plan the thing out. But the leader of the House of Wolves, Omen Black, is still my real IMF World Champion. I'm going to get to that. In a little while. We have some comments. We're going to get to that. The Underground OG, who was just in the ring for ROEW. I have a lot of ROEW things to talk about this week with James Taylor. So I'm very excited to talk about that, and we're going to certainly have plenty to bounce on when it comes to James Taylor. Let's go Summer Bash in 2 weeks. I've been nonstop training for the biggest weekend in the Underground. Well,
I want to face Cron too. Like him and I.
You guys talked about that on his show. I mean, so with the Dark Chronicles. I mean, maybe somebody will make that happen. You're a booker now. Can't you book yourself?
I mean, I could. I was thinking him or me, or we could even do Rockstars of the Galaxy against him and his brother. I'm
His
down.
brother though, but his brother's really out there though. I don't even know if his brother would want a team with him.
I know. They
His
used
brother's really out there.
to team though. They used to team, and it'd be kind of a dream match for me to face two underground OGs versus the Rockstar of the Galaxy. I mean, hey, never say never, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, let's certainly, I'm sure, quote James Taylor all we want, but we'll get to him very soon, later in the week. Yes, thank you, Dakota, and hello. We're getting a lot of hellos. It's been a minute from people, and that's okay. I won't repeat the F part, but we get the point. And Darkfire can't wait to see Darkron in Summer Bash, and Darkfire all good, getting ready for good old Summer Bash 3, and I was stuffing my face with Chinese food. Well, I hope that was good for you. I hope you enjoyed it. If I have Chinese food, I can't have it really because it just gives me like either a headache or I'm tired, so I just avoid it. But he's Ox McCoy. I mean, so this man, he drinks blood, eats blood, sleeps in blood, sends messages in blood. So for him,
in blood soup right now.
maybe that's so he's probably comfortable with it. There you go. Sounds good. Yeah, Ox. Yep, we miss everybody here too. The man, the myth, the legend, as I say to James Taylor, is here, and he had certainly plenty to say on Instagram about Jason Storm, a man that you share a locker room with, certainly. Yeah. So, a man I'm sure that'll be at Summer Bash, Jason Storm.
Hi, James.
The IRW, yeah. Oh, James is back this week. We're very excited about that. Dad has Chinese food. Well, he just confirmed it. And speaking of people who I need to see also on here, Daniel Ta. Who I know will be here tomorrow night when Godric Sandwell is here. He's going to be wrestling, or he has just wrestled for the NWA Midwestern Championship against Dante Casanova. So he'll talk about that. But right now, we're acknowledging Daniel Tafua and Shawn Jovi. And you fool, you're wrong. I yearn for it, my brother. I hunger to become victorious. He's addressing you. He's hungry. Yep, he's hungry like the wolf, to quote Duran Duran, and he wants to be victorious.
Good for him. He can try, but he won't get there. I'm still miles ahead of you, Darkfire. Whether you want to admit it or not, I am miles ahead of you, and I will prove that again at Larger Than Life as a part of Summer Bash.
Well, I mean, let's just say that obviously there is 18 plus years in the making for this. Let me ask you one slight question on this.
Sure.
You and Darkfire have this long history. It predates the GBYWN. It predates other ICW. It predates you guys returning to the yard 4 years ago in a company with a state with a W. They both have a W. You've now been in IMF, RCW, Summer Bashes together. But Shawn Jovi, we know that your year has not been the year that it was last year. It was Summer of Jovi last year. We talked about you winning. You were America's rock star, America's resident rock star. You couldn't do no wrong. You were everywhere. You were the front and center with the foundation. You were the man last year, but this year hasn't been that same year. It's been really one of the.
It wasn't. It's been kind of off. The balance of everything has been off.
It's just, I mean, I know you're trying to get back on track with the Rockstar of the Galaxy, and obviously we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about IMF in a few minutes, but if you lose here to Darkfire, if you lose once again, yet another match, I mean, where do you go from here? Where do you go from here?
See, that's the thing, Tom, and I know we've talked about this before, once with Omen, once with Mephisto, Anthony Steele especially. Especially Anthony Steele, but, one way or another, whether I win, lose, draw, I know that my place in the yard is still where it's at. I could lose 1,000,000 times over and not feel the slightest ounce of regret, because I know that in my heart, the yard is my home, the underground is my home, and whether I am a victorious champion or on the bottom of the barrel, I live for this shit. Every day, I would love being a backyard, underground, independent, whatever kind of wrestler you want to call me. I love being that. my passion drives. Like, honestly, I don't know what I'd do if I wasn't a backyard underground wrestler.
And you know what? I'm going to say so. I'm going to break the fourth wall for a minute. I shouldn't do it, but I'm going to do it. You know, Shawn Jovi, ladies and gentlemen out there, if you haven't been following, go check his Facebook in the last few weeks. This man's livelihood has been threatened because of his love for the backyard and the underground wrestling circuit. What this man has done, what this man has meant to the backyard, the underground wrestling circuit, the All Wrestling Matters movement, to this platform, this man's livelihood has been threatened. And even with that, facing all of those odds, facing what potentially could be even a situation greater than the backyard and the underground wrestling wins and losses he has on his resume, he's still here. He wants to keep going. He bleeds for this sport. He eats, sleeps, drinks backyard and underground wrestling. There are some people that go, yeah, I got a job. Yeah, I got a girlfriend. Yeah, my wife. And they say, sayonara. Shawn Jovi, I want to be here. I want to be a backyard and underground wrestler. There are people, and again, everybody is entitled to do what they want. There are people that will go, yeah, I got to go to greener pastures. Yeah, I don't want to be remembered as a backyard and underground wrestler. Yeah, I don't want to be remembered for being on a trampoline. Yeah, I don't want to be remembered for being a guy that wrestled on a mat, a guy that wrestled on the ground. Shawn Jovi is like, listen, this is what I want to do. This is where I want to be. I know nothing else. This is where you go. This is your home. This is where you matter. This is why you are so integral to everything around you. And you're fighting right now for your survival. You're fighting right now for your career because you don't want to be remembered as just this guy that hung on. You don't want to be remembered as this guy that certainly wore out his welcome. You've been facing things outside the backyard in the underground wrestling circuit. You've been dealing with things that no person should have to deal with. And you're going to use that for your own motivation. You're going to use that for what you need to do to rectify your own situation. And you're going to take that out on your friend, your buddy of 18 years, Darkfire, a guy that sometimes the truths are is that he piggybacks off your resume. He piggybacks off your legacy. A guy that's maybe an IMF because really Shawn Jovi's here. A guy that do most people think of when they think about the backyard and the underground wrestling circuit. Let them figure it out. But the facts are is that he wants to make a name further off what you've built. He's trying to use what you've done. But you're going to say, not so fast, my friend Darkfire. You're going to put out the flames. You're going to go out there and torch him and show everybody why Summer Bash, the All Wrestling Matters movement, everything that you've meant being the true last active link that has consistently been a part of the underground and backyard wrestling circuit from the GBYWN, you are going to show everybody why you've meant so much, and you are going to put out that fire. That certainly, as you stated, what you've been dealing with the last few weeks in your life, what you've been dealing with in terms of your role and your place in the backyard and the underground wrestling circuit these last several months, you're going to show Darkfire exactly why in 2 weeks that this is larger than life.
Yes, and Tom, you're right. I am backyard wrestling. I am the underground. I am what it all stands for. And that's what makes this so important to me is that you say people don't want to be remembered for being on a trampoline and all that stuff. The reason why I want to be remembered for it is because I want to be remembered as the one who changed the game for the backyard and underground scene. And I did that. I've done that multiple times now.
You did.
And that's what I want to be remembered for in this life is I gave people a place where they can feel welcome and not feel like a fool in the indies or get dicked around or whatever. I want people to feel like they belong somewhere, whether it's the most, moral place to go. It's not the most moral place to go, I should say. It's a home to some people. And that's what the Backyard Underground is. It's a home, and I want to be a home to people that don't have their own way, that don't have their own home fed to lean on. Like, that's what RCW and wrestling's about. Wrestling is family, Tom.
It is, and I think we've been losing that. I think we've been losing that lately because there has been a divide among people. There has been, and again, people can say whatever they want. They can do whatever they want.
Right.
They are absolutely entitled to that. But I feel that we are a community, especially for the Backyard and Underground people that come on. Indie guys, I love our indie wrestlers. I love them here. It's great to have them, but it's not a community. It's not a family. But the Backyard,
they're just here to promote their business and have a
They're here to promote the business, and I'll see you in 3 weeks, and it's great. I'm all for it. I love it. We want to give everybody that platform, but really the truth is that it's the Backyard. We got to stick together, and I have noticed that, there has been a divide, whether it's because of months ago. I don't think it's that. I think it's because of other things, and I think that that's why this Summer Bash show is so important. I think your match with Darkfire is so important, and that's why, to me, it's so important that you hit that sub button, and please hit it for the All Wrestling Matters page. Hit it for Shawn Jovi, because the truth is that this is who we are, and we are All Wrestling Matters, and people can change it to whatever they want. People can do whatever they want. They have absolutely all the reasons that they can, but I'm here to support All Wrestling Matters and its YouTube page, and I hope that you do the same. So let me get to some more comments. Go follow that. We'll get more subs later on, and we'll come back. We have a lot more comments. And yes, Shawn Jovi's YouTube channel. Hit the sub button for that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and also we have here, I don't know about y'all, but a peanut butter and jelly sandwich sounds good right now. Well, if you have one, I hope you're enjoying it. And definitely Skippy peanut butter and Smucker's jelly might sound good on white bread. But I haven't had peanut butter and jelly since, I don't even know. But I don't even eat breakfast barely. But Mr. Fire likes to continue to show you hellfire and brimstone, because I will show you no mercy, and I expect you to do the same, my brother. We will both give it our all. It will be a match to remember. I promise you. Okay.
That's what I want.
Well, stay tuned. Yeah, hit the sub button for Shawn Jovi once again. And hello to James Taylor. And Dakota will make a bracelet. And if she has a link or something, go out and buy her stuff. And there's this girl that comes on here, Princess JD, sometimes with these worry stones. I gotta ask you, have you heard about these worry stones she makes? This Princess JD, have you seen her at these IMF shows? She's this big Justin Parsley fan. You know anything about these worry stones?
She wasn't at the last show, I don't think. It was.
She keeps talking about worry stones on here, and they help you with anxiety. Is that such a thing?
I mean, stones. Honestly, I don't know much about that kind of.
I think a lot of people on my chat will be bringing up with the same.
I'm not knowledgeable in my rocks and minerals, brother.
Yeah, I mean, that wasn't something I really paid much attention to.
I wasn't good at earth science. Let's just be
honest. I mean, I passed it. I went to college and took it again, but it's not my forte. You never know who will show up at Larger Than Life. I mean, well, I, for one, would hope that would be Kato, who was on here a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I would like to see
I'd love to see there.
Well, who would you like to see?
I mean, I'm always down for a surprise. If anybody shows up I'm not expecting, I'll be happy to see him.
Well, I'll ask James Taylor that question, but I don't know if I'm going to.
I'll bet you $100 he's not going to show up to Summer Bash.
I wouldn't take your money, but I would probably say,
you know I'm right.
I know you're right, but I wouldn't want to take your money anyway. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. I would not do it. Yeah, I agree. I want to see people working together. Thank you very much for that. Yes, we agree with that. That's what Summer Bash is for. Absolutely. And I think that Best in the Yard is doing the same thing as well. I agree. Yes. Let's get to it. Let's get back to it. My website for small business is coming along. Okay. Sorry about work. And I'm sorry about you lost your job. Oh, that's not a good thing. Well, I hope you get another job. That's terrible. I mean, boy. Well, I hope you find another job. Hit the sub button for All Wrestling Matters. We don't want people to lose their jobs, and it's a
Yeah,
great honor to be a part of all this. And absolutely, definitely, please support all the great companies. Let me give Dark Chronicle a little plug before I do
I do.
talk about IMF. Yeah, I got to give because you're a part of the Dark Chronicles. You have to go
Yep.
and hit the sub button for him, and obviously he'll have some shows eventually. He's obviously been very busy in the new ROEW arena. James Taylor has rebuilt the ROEW arena after what Jason Storm did to it, and I know that Jason Storm and James Taylor have no love for each other, and that's going to be, I'm sure, a big topic here this week on Sportswire. Just I promise you that. But yeah, hit the sub button for Mr. Darkron and check out some of his stuff because we're all forsaken if we don't do it. So, well, that's Matthew's line, but same thing. Also, here, if you'd like merchandise, go out there and buy some Ox McCoy merchandise. I know he's going to certainly put us in blood. Well, he might do it anyway if we don't buy one. And Sean Jovi looks for John Bon Jovi's phone call and proof of that. Well, yeah, definitely buy an Ox shirt. Oh, well, now, obviously, the resident cat, Fozzie. Fozzie is here, and Fozzie is.
He wants to say
Well,
hi.
Fozzie's obviously say it. What do you want to say to the people, Fozzie? That obviously all cats matter, right? All or just Fozzie matters, right? So that we'll go with that.
Matter.
All cats matter.
He needs to be.
I tried to rescue a dog last Friday. I mean, there was a dog on my newspaper route that the dog was loose without a collar, and I was trying to keep this poor dog from being hit in the middle of traffic. And I stayed with the dog. It was a hot day, and I gave the dog my water bottle. And a gentleman was nice enough to buy the dog food, but we couldn't unfortunately find the dog its owner. But luckily, it ran into someone's backyard, and if I could say it, the clown that lost this dog found the dog and retrieved it, and then like 30 minutes later, I was harassed on my route. So that's been my weekend and a half. But yes, I do try to do different things, and thank you, you're welcome. Yeah, it's definitely a banger of a shirt. It's just like a Kato and Ox McCoy match, or even a Shawn Jovi Ox McCoy match back from early last year. Hey, there you go. Yeah, there you go. Yes, and you got it. Of course, hello to Daniel Tafua. We believe in Shawn Jovi. All Wrestling Matters. Hit the sub button for them. Yes, we're getting to more comments. Phone is about to die. We'll see you soon, I'm sure. Also, smoke them if you got them. And never mind, phone is charging. Now, yeah, if you have a charger, just stay here on Sportswire.
Yeah, stay
He
with.
said Worry Stones. It's on her X. It's Worry Stones. That's what she's called them, Worry Stones. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't there, so I'm just telling you what she's called them. Yeah, and there are certain crystals that are used for healing. For example, rose quartz is used for love. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. And Jovi, sir. Oh, you got some new shirts? New shirts coming up here?
Yeah, they didn't have any Shawn-sized ones, so I had.
Wow. Oh, I didn't know that. Well, obviously that's
Yeah, so now I got my Dark Crown merch. I'm
good.
trying to make my wardrobe just all my friends' merch.
I mostly have. I at this point I have so many wrestling shirts that I really. I mean, like I just don't have any room for them anymore. Although you should know that a friend that you may remember, J.R. Wind, is actually he's one of the few people that has been tuning into some of not for HCW, but for some of my shows. He's tuned in, and I gave him a Sportswire shirt. You remember J.R. Wind?
I remember J.R. Wind. I've talked.
He's actually it's a small world because he actually is a part of a company, Haybarn Championship Wrestling, that I've had some coverage with. And Joey Knight Jr. is a part of the old PWF, the Promo Wrestling Federation. And he's tuned in. I gave him a Sportswire shirt because I was like, you can have the shirt for free. But, we did that. So you never know who's out there. So get that merchandise. When you get the merchandise, we'll plug it here and I'll buy your shirt. And obviously, Fozzie, I mean, Mr. Fire loves Fozzie more than he loves you. That's obviously confirmed.
I feel like a lot of people feel that way about my cat.
Well, I'm going to say no comment because we love Shawn Jovi and Fozzie, and we love the Fozzie.
Yeah.
And also, yep, there you go. Yes, definitely a pretty cat. And, before I transition to the remaining parts of the show, as I promised, I have something for you. You probably would be like, boy, what else can I get here on Sportswire? But I got something because obviously we've been talking a lot about RCW, and certainly RCW's show. Everybody should go out there and check out. And I want to make sure that you get this and make this a special occasion because RCW is now officially into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. Congratulations. And I will give you this when we're off the air. And congratulations. RCW's got some big things ahead. We know RCW's front and center at Summer Bash this year. We know new talents are here. We've got Jovi's Vlog Champion. What happened with Mephisto and Freddie Daniels? Certainly a lot of stuff there. Thomas McEntee is reign supreme as the RCW champion, and just a lot of stuff in RCW. And that's why the time is now. Shawn, Jovi, congratulations. RCW is in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame.
And needless to say, this is just the beginning. I mean, I've been running RCW again for a few months. I'm working out the kinks. I'm starting to build stories. You know, every show has their pilot episodes, and then they start getting to the good stuff. I think starting with Larger Than Life and this past show, we're getting to the good stuff. So,
yeah, I think that obviously the best is yet to come. I always say that here, and we're very excited about that. And again, RCW will be a part of Summer Bash coming up. Summer Bash is in 2 weeks from now. It's going to take place from July 5th to the 7th, if I'm not mistaken. So please go out there. What better way to spend July 4th weekend or an extended version? Some people are going to take off probably like July 3rd or 2nd. So you couldn't think of a better way. We'll have coverage here of Summer Bash coming up probably on the 3rd. You'll probably see a combination of some different dates here with that. Maybe the 3rd, the 4th, the 1st, some combinations. We'll see at least a few days of coverage here of Summer Bash once again on Sportswire Radio. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice, figuratively and literally, all music and wrestling matters. And tomorrow we'll be here with Godric Sandwell and OVW talent DGet Bundles. DGet Bundles, a man that has traveled quite a bit, so he'll be here tomorrow night, and Godric Sandwell. So, and yes, say his name, and he appears, I believe, in Shawn Jovi, as we all do. But I got to ask you, now I know we've talked a lot about Summer Bash. We've talked a lot about RCW, new signings. We've talked about different people in and out, but I got to ask you here, what is going on in IMF? Rockstars of the Galaxy is one thing, but now we've got no world champion. We've got, it seems like Anthony Steele and Dirty, your brother, your friend in the foundation, you're part of the Galaxy. Seems like he respects Anthony Steele, and Anthony Steele then proceeded not to shake Omen Black's hand and seemed like he walked off without the House of Wolves. And I mean, Shawn Jovi, what is going on with the IMF since we've last talked about the IMF? It feels like years since we've last talked about the IMF, and I'm as confused as ever with what's going on with the House of Wolves, the foundation. I mean, I don't even know. And what's going on?
It's something. Every month there's something new that shakes the pot every month. Like last month it was Felix Jones turning on Soulja and Parsley, and then this month we got the Steel thing and no world champion because they both got a pin at the same time. And Dirty,
I mean,
I don't know. Like, it's chaos, man.
Well, where does this leave you now? Because let's go with the Anthony Steele thing first. And I know this is going to be a topic. I'm sure next week we're going to talk about that. I am sure it's going to come up because I'm expecting some of the names you haven't seen here in a while to return back home. I'm expecting that soon. So Anthony Steele is a man.
But it's not Sportswire.
I feel like it hasn't been Sportswire much these days, according to the Bon Jovi reference. Once again, the DJ reference. But Anthony Steele is a man you have a long checkered history with. You've had it here in this platform. You've had it in the ring with the United States Championship he took away from you and defeated you multiple times for. And I mean, so what do you make of this now? And Dirty shaking Anthony Steele's hand. This has got to put you in one of the most awkward positions yet.
Yeah, it's awkward. And when I saw him shake his hand, I'm like, you know, it's interesting because when Steele beat me for the U.S. title in 3 Doors Down, he offered to shake my hand too. But I refused. Not because I was a sore loser, but, well, actually, it's probably a little bit of that. But like,
also you had reason though. After we know how you
I had my own reasons. I had my own morals about it. But Dirty shaking his hand, that was something I wasn't expecting to see. And I mean, Dirty does his own thing. Dirty does Dirty. That's great. But I don't know. It was just weird to see after how much shit he has talked about Steel over time that he would just shake his hand off and offer.
But how also what Anthony's done to you guys and the way he's talked about you and Mephisto and Dirty on this platform and everything he's done was forcing Dirty to go into this moment to embarrass him. And Anthony Steele shakes his hand and Dirty accepts it. And there seems like there's this respect between these guys. And then what happens later on with Omen and Felix in the ring and Anthony there? And I'm confused.
I think Steele might have had what I had last week, and he's a little under the weather to be shaking hands and be doing stuff like that. Because it's not Steele. Let's be honest, Steele.
Yeah, this was not. Yeah, this is a man.
Yeah, this is not the Anthony Steele we all know and love to hate.
He's the most controversial figure in history, in wrestling history. He's right up there. And this is a guy that's famously said a lot of things. He has shut companies down. He has shut wrestlers down on this platform. I mean, he has been a man that whether you love him or hate him, he has definitely said things that would put him right up there with CM Punk, Shawn Michaels of the 1990s. I mean, this is a man that he's got no filter, and yet we see this stunning turn of event.
Yeah, like I said, I was watching it, and and I was speechless. People were even asking me, like, did Dirty just shake his hand? I'm like, yeah, and I have no freaking clue why.
Well, what did you say did you get a chance to talk to Dirty afterwards or anything?
I did not. I was
wow.
I did not get a chance to talk to him afterwards because, like I said, I was out last week pretty not feeling well, and after I got eliminated from the Rumble, I had a small asthma attack, so I went in the back and kind of went and took care of that. So I didn't get to see the rest of the show. So like the whole Steel thing, the whole Steel not shaking Omen's hand, I actually found about after the show because I was in the back trying to recuperate.
Understood.
And like it's just still mind blowing to me though.
This was not. Anthony Steele. He's Anthony Steele. So for this to go and see where this go, I think everybody's kind of wondering.
I mean, I'm curious myself. Even without Dirty in the picture, like, what is Steele's motive? I mean, he's got title shot now. That is what it is, and maybe that's why he didn't shake Omen's hand. And to send a message saying, "Hey, I could be a threat to your title." And Steele doesn't have the U.S. title anymore, so I mean that can make him equally or twice as dangerous. Now that he doesn't have a title anymore, he's gonna be hungry for another one.
But could you say that, this always come up, and this came up with the House of Wolves, Anthony Steele, and that Omen Black, and maybe he couldn't have ever trusted Anthony Steele, and it was only a matter of time that Anthony Steele would go into business for Anthony Steele, or is this maybe truly sincere? And I mean, because Anthony Steele, we've seen this play out between him and Omen Black on Sportswire. We saw the back and forth with them. Anthony Steele is not a man that takes orders. He's a man that doesn't really take advice. He's Anthony Steele. So maybe this was just a matter of time. And maybe for the first time, we're seeing some kind of confusion or tensions in the House of Wolves, because now we know Omen doesn't have the world title anymore.
Right.
We know the situation with Anthony Steele now, and I mean, maybe for the first time, the House of Wolves are dealing with what you guys in the foundation have.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like there is a bit of cracks in the foundation of
the Wolves. The Wolves maybe not howling as much anymore.
Yeah, the howls have definitely been.
Last time you guys were here, it was all about now this trio, this deadly trio of Felix Jones and Jason Storm and Omen Black alongside Anthony Steele with Ox McCoy, with Reverend Solomon. But now with Anthony Steele walking off away from Omen Black?
No, it never made sense to me that he was in the House of Wolves to begin with. He was one of the people I was shocked to see join because him and Omen have so much history.
Oh,
And
it goes back. It goes back a long time.
It goes back to before I even was an IMF.
It goes back to, I'm going to bring it up. It goes back to the Nemesis sessions with James Taylor, and it goes back to before when IMF was trying to usurp a company you worked for. That's how long this goes back between these two individuals.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a shock. It's a shock to the system that he joined because Anthony Steele's not really a group guy. Anthony Steele, that's what I do. That's Anthony Steele, and now, but maybe we're seeing that this was never going to really last full long term. Maybe Anthony Steele reads the tea leaves. He sees Felix Jones. He's the prince of professional wrestling. Jason Storm. I mean, boy, he's going to be a big topic with James Taylor in a few days, and maybe Anthony Steele. He sees that he's not the second banana. Or not even the top of the food chain in the Wolves. I don't know.
Yeah. It's a stay tuned and find out kind of situation. Like, I'm excited to see where this goes. I mean,
but what do you think for you guys in the foundation? But what do you think? Go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead, Tom. Go ahead.
I was going to say, but now you guys in the foundation, right? Obviously, yourself. Right. Mephisto, certainly Soldier, Drago, I guess Justin Parsley, I guess Damian Saint. What do you guys make of this? What do you think you guys as a group will make of this?
You see, the thing that makes it hard is there's been a lot of separation, it feels like, in the foundation. You kind of got Damian and Drago and Soldier and Parsley in one corner dealing with the House of Wolves, and then you got the Rockstars of the Galaxy doing their own thing over there. And that's what I've been doing is I've been doing my own thing with the Rockstars. I kind of and I love Soldier to death. He's probably the best one I've ever made in this business.
A good man.
He's a very good man, and all the love to him, all the love in the world. But his priorities are different than my priorities right now. The foundation's got two different halves here, and one half has to do with the House of Wolves, which all the power to you, Soldier. Do it. Take those tag titles and defend them with Parsley. Take out the House of Wolves, yada yada yada. But you know, Soldier, one day me and Mephisto might be looking for a tag title shot. So,
whoa. But you guys are foundation. You know what time it is? 4 up, 4 down.
Oh yeah, it's always going to be 4 up, 4 down, Tom. No matter what, that's a bond that has been established over the years and will never be broken. But I mean, friendly competition's friendly competition, whether it's for a title or not. And if they still have the tag titles later this year and Mephisto and I can climb up the ladder in ranks and wins, I think it'd be cool to see that happen.
But listen, and you talked about this on Christmas last year. You talked about a tag team championship. That would be something to get you back on track. That would be something that you've wanted a partner. You've looked at Mephisto. You see a lot of similarities. He's become your best friend. Mm-hmm. He's become the friend that you thought you had with Darkfire. He's the guy that maybe can continue this success with you.
Yeah.
And maybe that's your future. Maybe that's the future for the Rockstars of the Galaxy is, well, a match for, let's just say, the Galaxy between you guys and, well, the real monsters. And certainly Justin Parsley when he comes back to the ring. And obviously we expect that to be one day. But let me ask you a question. I know Zilla's got a question for you. I'll get to that in a minute. I'm going to ask you a crazy hypothetical. And I can't believe I'm even asking you this question. You're going to be like, I can't believe, Tom, you're asking me this question either. Because I've known you a long time now, 3 years just about. Do you think it's a possibility that Anthony Steele could join the foundation?
If he's in, I'm out, brother.
Whoa! So that's an emphatic no.
I'm not exactly 100% serious on that, but I don't know if I mean, I'm having a hard time trusting Parsley in the foundation. What makes you think I should trust Anthony Steele in the
But
foundation?
think about it. I mean, obviously, this handshake with Dirty. I mean, Dirty's going to have something to say on that, and we know that there's going to be a time very soon where Anthony Steele is coming back to Sportswire. You know that is going to be eagerly anticipated because you know with James Taylor coming back, Anthony Steele's not too far behind. You just know that. And I'm sure that people are going to be wondering for the next IMF show, what is the future of Anthony Steele? Because it seems to me like him and the Wolves, I mean, it don't seem like they're howling together. And naturally, I mean, if you want to beat the Wolves, I mean, what better way to bring in a guy that knows him better than anybody? I mean, listen, you can't trust him. I mean, I'm sure you're going to be telling the guys that. And I would have to think Parsley knows that. I would have to think Drago knows that. But certainly you, as maybe more than anybody else would. And Anthony Steele, think about this. He just goes from recently burning the Ula followers of Il Drago, talking about everything about Il Drago and his family and his legacy. And he does that. He does all those things. And then now, all of a sudden, Anthony Steele and Dirty shake hands, and the fans are cheering Anthony Steele. And he basically doesn't shake Omen Black's hand and walks off. Things change, I guess.
Yeah, that's a quick amount of time to have a change of heart. But, I mean, let's be honest. We've all seen weirder things happen in this business.
But this is one that I think a lot of people are scratching their heads for, Shawn Jovi. Because,
I mean, this is the top 5 head scratchers of all time.
Anthony Steele is the most controversial figure. And like I said, in wrestling history, I put him up there with even names like CM Punk. I put him up there with names like Shawn Michaels of the 1990s. I put him up there with a lot of other interchangeable names. I've seen it. You've seen it. He's done here on this platform. And now it seems like an okay guy. And I don't know what to make of this. I am very fascinated to see what Soldier thinks the day that Justin Parsley recovers from his concussion. And speaking of which, before I get to closing thoughts, you know, we talked about the IMF World title now being vacant. And, I mean, I guess that may make you feel good, but what is your thoughts now on that, and where do we go from here?
Sky's the limit, Tom. I mean, roads can take you anywhere. It's just a matter of where you wind up.
Well, I mean, we don't have a world champion, and certainly Damian Saint was walking around with the title, but Dirty made that decision. Yeah. And I mean, so I just more or less, I guess
it's a tough decision to make. I mean, for Dirty, both of them had the pin. I mean, at the same time on Drago. And I think that's the problem is you can't have 2 winners in one match, especially a title match. You can't just cut the belts and half and say, here's one, here's the other. No, I mean, Dirty had to do what he had to do. He had to vacate the belt. They're probably going to have to face off again and find out who the one true champion is of IMF. That's inevitable. That's just.
How does that make you feel in the group? How does that? I mean, you've certainly went to war with Omen. We talked about obviously what he did to you a few months ago, but there's no world champion.
Yeah, I mean, kind of makes me bummed. I could have just taken that belt off him if I had won that match, but
now Omen can't leave IMF and walk out with the IMF world title for now, and the House of Wolves all of a sudden, I mean, there's true now. They've lost the tag titles.
Yep.
They've lost, it seems like, Anthony Steele, and now they've lost the world title.
Yeah, I mean, the house is slipping in terms of power. I mean, there's
cards are folding. Yeah, the house is crumbling.
Yeah, the foundation has just collapsed. Not completely. There's still some life. There's still I don't know the word for it, but yeah, there's still life there, but
I don't know. This is really confusing.
I mean,
I'll tell you what.
House of Wolves is also like a house of egos. And I mean, Steele's ego, obviously, is giving him separation from Omen. Omen's ego is too big for the entire house to handle, probably.
Well, I mean, I just Felix Jones comes in, and we thought it would be decades worth of dominance. They add Jason Storm to the group. I
Yeah,
mean, you would
that
think
was
that
that was a big one for them.
I thought with that this would be total domination, that we would see the House of Wolves run and reign supreme for generations. I mean, you think about what Ox has done, you think about what Omen had done up at that time, Anthony Steele as the United States champion, but
Mhm.
now losing the tag titles and once again being defeated for them. Seeing Anthony Steele now, maybe Soldier who's here is right that he's open. Anthony Steele is opening his eyes. I mean, I never would
I
have thought.
mean, yeah, the way to. I mean, that is the house's slogan, and I think Anthony's opening his eyes a little bit differently than the house would open his eyes. Maybe Steele does have some kind of human in him after all. Maybe he's not just the terrible, controversial figure that everyone makes him out to be.
You know, that's
Possible.
a good point.
We could be looking at a new Anthony Steele, a new leaf turned. I mean, honestly, I don't expect that to ever happen, but weirder things have happened in this business, as I've said.
You know, strange. You know, it's a really crazy time in the world, and Anthony Steele has definitely turned the wrestling world in the IMF upside down because he has walked away from the House of Wolves, and Soldier makes that point. He's opening his eyes, and now I think it'll be a big question of where do they go from here, and certainly that's going to be a topic next week here on Sportswire when we see some of these names come back on here to discuss this, and maybe you guys in the foundation are feeling good finally for a change. Maybe you guys are feeling good, I guess.
I mean, it feels good that there's not a dark cloud called Omen Black raining all over IMF's parade. So there's that. I mean, I'm just excited that there's a new change of pace in the IMF. There's no champion right now, which leaves infinite possibilities of what could happen next. There's dissension in the House of Wolves. I mean, look at that pen. That you can't really tell who's
you know what? And that's a great point you made, because I couldn't even say, well, there's a millisecond Omen or Damian wins.
Yeah, I mean, you can slow-mo it, but honestly, I don't even think it's enough slow-mo to make it change anything. The ref got down on their knees after both their arms are down, so there's really no way of indicating who got the pin first.
I think it's obviously a completely different situation, one that I haven't seen in a if ever in my career doing this, and you've been around a long time as well. And I mean, this is just a situation that's going to, I mean, certainly play out, and I know we're going to be talking a lot about it here coming up. The IMF, I know, as after Summer Bash, we're here in a few weeks after that, and I know that some of these names are going to be back on here, and just Omen Black, it may be his show, but right now he doesn't have the IMF World Title. I mean, Sportswire is his platform, but the World Title in the IMF is not his no longer, and I think that's the biggest thing here. What a certainly interesting turn of events. Like you said, 24 hours is a lifetime. Anthony Steele, what he does the night before, House of Wolves, what they do, and now no world titles. Steele seems to be gone, and just tag. We know Myers is never getting back those tag titles, and it's Ox McCoy that seems to be the only one that's unstoppable. Ox McCoy, and that's why, to catch up on all of it here before we sign off, hit the sub button for the IMF, please.
Well, I guess it's my show now. I don't know what happened to Tom, but hi. This is the segue for when we wait for Tom to come back.
No, unfortunately, no, it wasn't technically Omen cutting the power. I just lost the stream here, unfortunately. But things do happen. But obviously, yes.
For you, I don't know if it worked.
I don't know what worked, but obviously, Zilla wants to say that she wishes she was there at the IMF. And she wants to help the House of Wolves, but she's there in spirit. And at least Zilla said hello to Soldier GP. They've had quite a history that's played out there. And also, Zilla wants to say, what do you mean Anthony Steele doesn't have the IMF United States Championship?
Well, if you were watching the Battle Royal, the most unique cash-in in God's existence happened, where El Drago challenged Anthony Steele for the U.S. title in the middle of the Rumble match. So to explain it to those who don't understand, there's a Rumble going on. And then when Drago comes out, Steele's all woozy off his ass.
And Drago, because he's got the briefcase.
Yeah, Drago's got the briefcase. He can do it any time. So Drago's like, hey, let's have a match in a match.
It's legal. It's legal because he has that briefcase. There's a referee there. Exactly. That's
right. And the referees are there, and there may be a bunch of chaos happening around, but they're the only two that matter in that match. Then.
Well, listen.
It was a sight to see. I've never seen a cash-in so unique, but I think it was really cool the way it was executed and done, and I give Drago props for that completely.
And you know what? Drago desperately needed a victory, desperately needed something, especially after what Steele did to him. And
I know how he feels, so I'm proud of him. I'm happy for him that he's the champion.
And Darkrai makes a very interesting point because he had wanted a shot with Omen Black, but I guess I have no idea. Darkrai, you talk to Dirty. I have no idea if you're getting a title shot. I have no idea because there's no champion.
Yeah, I mean, I think they should just both be champion, just cut the title in half, and then design a new one once.
Wasn't there a period where Chris Jericho and China were the co-intercontinental champion? Wasn't there like a moment? Somebody correct me on that. So I guess you maybe could have done that. I don't know, but I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you, but yeah, hopefully.
At that point.
But before I let you go and ask you one more question, I got to give a huge plug because there's something you plugged in your RCW show that I most certainly want to get to. And that is our friends over at Vintage Heaven, because Vintage Heaven have thousands of hand-picked items. Spread the good word. You want to see some of the different things. Shawn Jovi's a big fan of them. They've got a lot of collectible merchandise. If you want to see some shirts, the old Pepsi logo with Jesus got to have them. Jesus is life. You want to see Easy Riders? Yeah, that's a funny shirt.
I do have a story to tell about Vintage Heaven too that I think you'll find hilarious.
I want to hear that in a second, but I want to plug some of this stuff because they got some great stuff there. You want to check out Little Captain Crunch Quaker oldies. That's definitely, I haven't seen one of those. And you got some skateboards there from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from the 1989, the old comic book. And I know Jovi's a big fan of them. You got some old Chicago Bulls merchandise, and that's definitely going back in the time machine, 95, 1997. For our heavy metal fans, God rest his soul, Roddy James Dio. I see REO Speedwagon. There better be some Bon Jovi for Shawn Jovi there. Jimi Hendrix, a man in college I did my report on for music class. I mean, so I'm always fond of that. Obviously, Ox McCoy took the tie-dye idea from this. Well, maybe not, but some great merchandise. And if you can, hit the follow button for them on Instagram. They're on some other platforms. So go out there and please check them out. Also, I have a Facebook thing to message as well to share. Thank you to management for giving me that link. I'll put that up in a minute. And please support them. Please follow them. And there she is. As I said, she shows up. So, and also, what if finish fill in the blanks? Omen is still the final IMF champion. I refuse to believe I'm the only one left in the house with gold, and Darkrai will just defeat both of them. Well, who knows? But what's your story with Vintage Heaven? I'd love to know it.
So, me and the owner, we kind of have like a working relationship. He finds something, he holds it for me, I buy it, whatever, off Cash App. And one known fact, I bought a John Cena foam hands from 2015 from him for $25, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a couple days before the show, and I have to go pick it up. I get a call from Anthony Steele.
Well, that would make my heart sink if Anthony Steele calls.
Oh yeah, and no, it makes me think harder because he sent me a message saying I'm gonna fight you, and then he called.
And
okay. I was like, what is this? What's he picking a fight for me with now? He's like, I know you bought that foam finger. Because he's a John Cena fan. So
yes, he's still about that. Yeah.
I know you bought that finger. I talked to the guy at Vintage Heaven. He said some guy's coming Saturday to pick it up and it's already paid for. Who the hell else goes to Vintage Heaven on a Saturday when they're in town? I'm like, well, I guess you found the right guy because that was me.
Oh, whoa!
So it's funny. And he was like, he even told the guy in the message, he's like, frickin' Jovi. He knew. He knew it was me.
Oh
And
man,
who
that's so
else would know?
cool.
I love
That is-
Vintage Heaven. I don't think I've gone there once without leaving with something. I already bought a Count Dooku toy lightsaber that
Oh wow, okay.
when I was a kid. They had one at Vintage Heaven. They posted on their Facebook yesterday, and I was like, "How much? $15?" Sent them the money on Cash App. I'll see you in 2 weeks for it.
Wow.
It's just how it works.
That's really cool. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
reason why you want to go out there and go to Vintage Heaven. They're open Monday to Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Saturday and Sunday, 12 to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. They're at 112 29th Street, NE Northeast, Cedar Rapids, Iowa, 52402. Thousands of hand-picked items. Spread the good word. And if you want something, your long distance.
It's honestly the coolest consignment, like toy
Yeah.
and like outfit kind of store, like kind of one of those. It's probably one of the coolest ones I've ever been to.
Yeah, I don't know if we really have any of these by me. I'm thinking of places like in the Village, but not to this level. But this is
It's a
definitely
very unique store, and that's what
I
I
can
really
see
like
that.
about it. The owner himself has a lot of unique aspects about him too. Like I think it's a very cool store and a very cool concept of items that he sells.
I could see his background. I could see some of the stuff he has. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we're not going to show that picture there, but we're not going to do that. We're a family station, but I'll tell you what, great stuff there by and large. Check all of it out. There's something for everybody, something for the kids, something for the wrestlers, something for everybody out there. And that's a very cool shirt there. And yes,
That is really cool.
You got Motley Crue, U2, all great stuff. Check it out. Support those who support us. I'll put the clip up for it later. And I do have a breaking news here before we sign off. I have breaking news from management in the IMF. But before I do that, I do want to say hello to her because she did talk about herself. And yes, Jovi, we talked about you with the Stones, which I was trying to figure out.
I'll take some Stones if you're there, if you're at the next one.
I just said, yeah, we talked about you and I mentioned you being one of your Stones. And Justin Parsley hasn't been here. Maybe he's still dealing with the effects of the concussion. And yeah, Vintage Heaven looks like a really cool place. That's definitely a place I would like to go.
Soldier's the one who got me hooked on that place.
Well, Soldier, he's obviously a smart man, so that's why I like Soldier. So hopefully you do too. But I got breaking news from management before I sign off with you that I have to get to. So this is from management. By the way, this is also on the IMF's Facebook page, and we'll put the clip up for this in a few minutes after we're off the air. But after taking some time to think about what to do with Omen Black and Damian Saint pinning Il Drago, there will be two title defenses on July 18th. Omen Black will defend the IMF championship against Il Drago, and Damian Saint will defend the IMF championship against Rory Fox, and the winner of those matches will go one-on-one at All Out Warfare to determine who is the undisputed IMF championship. Ladies and gentlemen, these two men, Omen Black, the boogeyman of the Midwest, the hardcore god, and then Damian Saint is going to defend their IMF championships. And if they're both successful, they're going to go out one-on-one against each other, all-out warfare, to determine who is the undisputed IMF champion. Boy, a reason to be here on July 16th on Thursday. A reason to be here throughout next week. We have Summer Bash pre-show coverage and other things because, boy, things have really taken a dramatic turn of events, and especially now that Omen Black and Damian Saint are holding possession of the IMF championship and then defending. I don't think I've ever seen this before. I don't think anybody will ever see this again, and that's exactly a reason why you want to follow the IMF on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and go out and buy a ticket to this and certainly see what's at stake. I cannot wait to talk about that. And Shawn, Jovi, before I let you go for signing off tonight with you in final words, is there anything else you want to plug, share, or say before we are off the air?
You know, Tom, I think we basically covered the gist of tonight. I did want to announce a few things I wanted to do for Larger Than Life that I didn't get to mention.
Let's
I talked about the STBW thing. I am looking, and this is provided that STBW can make it to Summer Bash. I would like to see an STBW versus RCW showcase match.
Oh!
So that's in the works. I'm working on getting that together. And so Ring of Destruction was the name of a show that existed in that other group.
Yes, no, very well.
Other group because it was an RCW show first. And so I got the name back. That's why they're calling their next show Ring of Chaos. And I'm not using it as a show name, though. I'm doing it something a little bit different with the Ring of Destruction. You see, you know what the Elimination Chamber is, Tom, right?
Of course, yes.
Now, obviously, we don't have money to buy an Elimination Chamber. But we can have a chamber that's invisible, pretend. You can have 6 people, have the same rules, make it no disqualification, and we call it Ring of Destruction. So at Summer Bash, Larger Than Life, we will be having an RCW Championship Ring of Destruction match between Thomas McEntee and 5 other participants that
Whoa!
Run.
So Thomas McEntee is going to have to defend his RCW championship against 5 different people. He's got only a 1 in 6 chance of walking away with that RCW championship. Whoa!
You know, it is a big announcement, and I know it's probably a lot to put on a champion, especially one as young as McEntee, but here's the thing. McEntee said he wants to be a fighting champion. He wants to be the best. He wants to be the champion of a product that I can be proud of him for. And I think he stands a chance in this match. I mean, he's got the heart of a champion, no doubt.
He has been a fighting
champion. Out of my mind. So I want to challenge him, and I want to make a big match for the RCW title at this event. So I figured what better way than to debut the old Ring of Destruction than to have a big old match for that title. Elimination Chamber style rules, no DQ.
Whoa.
It's going to be huge. I got big plans for Summer Bash and Larger Than Life, Tom. I told you, I have a whole notebook full of ideas I'm coming up with. So,
well, you came out swinging to close the show.
I will announce. Those are the ones I'm announcing for now. Everything else will be hidden under lock and key for later. You know.
Well, that's why we want people. By the way, before we sign off, Shawn Jovi's YouTube page.
Mm-hmm.
Go out and follow. Thank you, Dakota, for being here. Yes, people tuned in tonight, thankfully. Yes, hit the sub button for the IMF. All Wrestling Matters YouTube page. Please go out there and follow that. I mean, please, there'll be plenty of RCW coverage ahead. And RCW is now in the Sportzwire Radio Hall of Fame. And you heard it here first. You are going to see STBW versus RCW. And we saw what STBW did at Awaken the Fallen. We now know that Thomas McEntee, our reigning defending RCW champion, has only a 1 in 6 chance of retaining his championship in a no DQ elimination chamber match. We have no idea what to expect yet. There'll be more RCW news here coming up. Summer Bash is ahead. We have plenty of coverage that'll take place on the 5th and 6th of July. Thank you for Ox McCoy letting us know that, plus a slew of other topics. So you honestly want to tune in to the IMF socials, Shawn Jovi socials, and repeat. IMF coverage will be back next week in full swing, and maybe even or sooner than that. So there'll be a lot to talk about. I am excited. It is time to get back to the basics, and we certainly did that here and some tonight on Sportswire Radio. And Shawn Jovi's just the man to do that, and he certainly delivered and some. I know he was certainly pulling through like a trooper with his voice, and that's why I'm going to let you have the final words here tonight so you can certainly go rest and spend time with Fozzy, and hopefully your voice gets little by little much better.
I mean, it's at about 85-90% now compared to what it was last week. I mean, I was talking like I smoked 6 packs.
You did say that you were like, I think we spoke on Messenger, and you were like at like 10%. So yeah,
it was terrible. It's not like I smoked like 20 packs of cigarettes in one day. It was that bad. It was that kind of deep, dead voice inside. But hey, I'm better now. I'm healthy again for the most part. Yeah. So I'm happy. I mean, we're back in full swing. Summer Bash is coming up. We got everything going on and more. So I hope that everyone stays tuned. I hope everyone subscribes to Sportswire. I hope everyone subscribes to my stuff. I hope that everyone subscribes to All Wrestling Matters,
Yeah,
IMF, everything under the sun. All wrestling matters after all.
absolutely.
And
Yes.
I hope this presentation tonight helped people remember why we do what we do. That's what I want everyone to take from this tonight is remember where we came from. Let's make it big again. Let's make it continue. Let's continue where we left off and have one hell of a summer bash.
I think we will. I think that people are excited. I think people now want to get back to what they had. I think that tonight you saw people that haven't been here in a while in the chat, and I think that people are ready for it. I think it's a good time. I think now people are ready. It's like I said, back to the basics, and I think the next few weeks you're going to see some more coverage of what we had here, and I'm very excited about the future. The best is certainly yet to come. Plenty of IMF coverage, plenty of Summer Bash coverage, plenty of ROEW coverage, plenty of RCW coverage, plenty of just all of your favorites. Shout outs to everybody here, to the companies that are here. Please follow them. And one more time, Shawn Jovi, RCW, Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. Follow Shawn Jovi on Facebook, YouTube. Check him out on Instagram, TikTok, every other places. Check out everybody else that's here. And my friend, go feel better. Definitely looking forward to seeing you back here next week, as I'm sure a part of the coverage. And definitely fired up about what's ahead. And thank you for all that you've done for our sport. Thank you for all that you've done for me on a personal level. Thank you for all that you've done for this platform and the All Wrestling Matters movement. And congratulations, and great show with the Wake and the Fallen. And we'll see you next week.
Yeah, definitely, Tom. It's been a pleasure as always.
All right, that is Shawn Jovi, the resident rock star, the man behind RCW. Also, of course, in the foundation. You know what time it is. Multiple time Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, one of the most beloved personalities here on our platform's history. And my name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice, figuratively and literally, with all music and wrestling matters. I'll be here tomorrow, probably around 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, with a rare back-to-back shows. I've got Godric Sandwell, the gentleman of exquisite caliber, and then I've got OVW's the Get Bundles. So we'll be talking a little bit with both those guys, and we'll also have some coverage coming up here soon. Stay tuned. Dates to follow for IMF and others, and there's plenty to talk about there. And hit the sub button. Also, if you're out there, please be safe with the heat. I know where I am, it's going to be extreme. And we went from like 55 degrees last weekend to like 155 degrees. And
yeah, it's hot.
Princess JD says bye. Yes, thank you, Princess JD. And yes, buy her Worry Stones. And Dakota was explaining what they were, and I think we've got them. And maybe Justin Parsley will be here the next time you're here. But until then, thank you so much, everybody, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. On the number one global radio station, the Sports Radio, where all music and wrestling matters. Thank you, everybody.